Good evening. Thank you. Good evening. It is such a pleasure to be live and in person. My name is Marty Smith. I'm the Vice President for Institutional Advancement here at Millsaps. And a year ago, I'd been in this position for 1 month, and kind of did this little spiel right here, but did it staring at a camera. As people, I think, watched. The rumor was people were watching. But it's so much of a enjoyable time to be live and in person, to be able to visit and have great fellowship with so many close Millsaps friends and alumni. So tonight I just want to say welcome. It's great to have you here. This is certainly an event we really look forward to here at Millsaps because it's our opportunity to recognize individuals who have given so generously to the college. And it's also an opportunity for our donors to have the opportunity to meet students and for students to have the opportunity to meet donors. And it's a pretty easy program when you put those two things together because everybody gets to see the impact that's taking place. And so tonight you're going to get to see what your investment is doing and the impact you're having on our little college here in Jackson. And the students have the opportunity to meet the individuals who are making their opportunities a reality. And so you're going to hear a lot about international studies tonight, and we're excited about that. But more importantly, you're going to really get to see what students get to do at Millsaps College that they don't have the opportunity to do any other place. This is a college that changes young lives. I've been in the development field for over 30 years now, and I do it because I get the opportunity to see young people on this campus, and I get to see them mature from 18-year-olds to 22-year-olds, and I get to see their lives truly changed because of the experiences they have at a place like Millsaps College. There are faculty here that are doing unbelievable research with students. There are students that are having experiences around the world because of the opportunities they have at Millsaps College. And it's just a real pleasure. It's a real honor for me to be here. My wife Cindy's here as well, but we just love being at Millsaps. This first year has been awesome, and it's a real pleasure. Part of what we want to do, though, is to recognize individuals and those whose generosity we celebrate this evening. I want to begin with the Founders Society, which is composed of donors who give $1 million, who have given $1 million to Millsaps College. Their vision, their financial support, and their names are forever linked to our founders' vision of providing scholastic opportunities to any student qualified to succeed at Millsaps, and linked to all the Millsaps stands for today. Our Ad Adolescentium Council members have given a total of $500,000 through their lifetime. And members of the Charles Betts Galloway Society and William B. Murrah Society give $25,000 or $10,000 annually to the college. The Heritage Society is comprised of donors who have made planned gifts to Millsaps. Much of our endowment has come from the generosity of individuals who have made planned gifts which benefit the college and its students far beyond the year in which the gift was given. We have a special welcome to individuals who have established endowed scholarships or endowed funds at Millsaps to support scholarships, academic programs, and faculty, and to individuals acting as representatives for those endowed funds. Your gifts provide critical support year after year in practically every area on campus. We also have members of our Board of Visitors here this evening. This is an advisory group that convenes annually to provide important feedback to the college for strategic planning purposes. It is truly an honor to be with you tonight, and each of you plays an important role in the past, present, and future success of Millsaps. During dinner, please take the advantage of this opportunity to share your Millsaps experiences and then learn more about what current faculty and staff are doing. Later this evening, as I said, you'll hear more about international study programs. We will have a slideshow of international study photos running throughout the dinner. And I want to mention also that we hosted our first alumni trip to the Yucatan in November, which was a huge success. I think you'll see some of those alums. Some of the alums are here with us this evening, and you may see some familiar photos in some of the slides during the dinner. Be on the lookout. We plan on doing more future alumni and friend trips in the very near future. Again, I'm so glad to be here and have you here with us this evening. It's going to be a fun evening for sure, and if I can get this page, there it is. At this time, I'd like to call upon Reverend Dr. Joey Shelton, Dean of the Chapel and Director of Church Relations at Millsaps, to give us our invocation.
Thank you, Marty. For those of you who don't know, my wife has been elected a bishop in the United Methodist Church, and it's very bittersweet for me because I will be moving to North Carolina in June. And Dr. Kurt Thal reminded me that what this was the Last Supper for me. And so, that being said, I realized that I should bless the elements, and this should be Eucharist tonight. Because what is Eucharist? But it's a sacrament, and it's an outward and visible sign of an inward and spiritual grace which has been given to all of us. And you are sacrament for Millsaps College and for the relationships and the way that we have been family together. May we pray. Almighty God, thank you for this night that we can come together as Millsaps family. Thank you for the gift of the life of family. And so on this occasion that we rejoice Millsaps College, we give you thanks for all that you have provided, for the outward and visible signs of inward and spiritual graces which you bestow upon us over and over and over again. And so, Lord, bless our time together, bless this meal, bless the hands that have prepared it, and your good earth that has provided it. For it is in the name of Jesus the Christ, the one who is and was and is to come, that we pray. Amen.
Well, good evening and welcome all. What a treat to be with you tonight. Please feel free to continue if you're still working on dessert or even your meal. Don't let me interrupt the meal. So I'm Rob Perigin, and it's my privilege to serve as the 13th president of Millsaps College. This evening marks the first time we've been together since 2020 for this celebration of and recognizing our founder. So it's so great to be with you again and to be able to express appreciation for you who mean so much to us, your great support of the college, and also to our students. Let's give our students a round of applause tonight. You know, we talk a lot about Millsaps today, but it's really about Millsaps tomorrow, and they are our future. So we are so thrilled to have you with us, and thank you. I had the special privilege of sitting with Brittany, and look forward to seeing all of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for those who support the institution with your gifts. You support the institution so generously. I appreciate that generosity. Just yesterday, I read a definition of generosity by a theologian, J.I. Packer, and it reminded me of you. He writes, generosity means a disposition to give to others in a way which has no mercenary motive and is not limited by what the recipient deserves, but consistently goes beyond it. A disposition to give with no selfish motive, in a manner that goes beyond, well beyond, anything that might be expected. That's what you do. You consistently go beyond all expectations. And your motive is clearly tied to no self-interest, but to your care for this special place and your belief in its mission, its lasting values. So thank you for your generosity. Thank you for all you do, your generosity of spirit, and your generosity of giving of your treasure. We're deeply, deeply grateful. Tonight, on this 133rd anniversary of the founding of Millsaps, we're once again gathered to celebrate the far-sighted vision of our earliest leaders, including the three principal founders, Reuben Webster Millsaps, Charles Betts Galloway, and William Belton Murrah. Reuben Millsaps was an extraordinary businessman and leader who was both a romanticist and a realist. He had a deep commitment to his community and to educational opportunities for all, especially for those who were less privileged. He believed anything was possible as long as one had vision, integrity, industry, and a heart for service. He was a 19th century risk-taking entrepreneur, investing substantial resources in a private, nonprofit educational startup, Millsaps College, that turned out to be a pretty good investment. Bishop Charles Galloway was one of the most influential thinkers and servant leaders in the church and in society in the late 19th century. It is said of him that with his Wesleyan values at his core of his being, that he was singularly responsible for moving the minds that moved the world at that time. Educator and Millsaps' first president, William Murrah, was a person of powerful intellect, quiet dignity, and seriousness of purpose, and he used his knowledge and his talents to shape a college that has stood the test of time, that has been a beacon in higher education and a contributor of all that is well in society. These three leaders, were instrumental in creating an institution that was important and different from the very beginning, and whose 19th century roots help us to now flourish in the third decade of the 21st century. So the 1898 Millsaps Collegian, the newspaper at the time, declared, "We must not lose sight of the fact that we educate for citizenship and for mankind, as well as for a professional life." That statement of an educational experience that is purposeful in terms of both intrinsic personal value rooted in liberal arts education and the extrinsic instrumental value leading to professional and career opportunities is a prophetic comment on our current deeply important curriculum and our new Pathways program aimed at helping students move from high school to college and college to career. That's been in our DNA from the very beginning. Our difference, our uniqueness came through in many other ways in those early years. Writing was always a central feature of the Millsaps experience, setting us apart from many of our peers. The college became co-ed in its first decade, while most liberal arts colleges in the South remained all male until the second half of the 20th century. And Millsaps built Mississippi's first golf course in 1901. So we've always been at the cutting edge. In 1899, Professor Muckenfuss and his students published a geological account of Mississippi, and he delivered lectures, one titled God Revealed in the Study of Physics and Chemistry. And by 1902, the college had added the James Observatory, a building completely devoted to science. The founders considered the study of the universe to be critical as science and technology and education throughout the world was rapidly changing. And I'm pleased to say that it was just in 2016 that we celebrated the restoration of the observatory, which serves as a tribute to the early vision of the Millsaps founders and our present-day vision of educating citizens and charting the future. And some of you in this room helped with that renovation, so thank you. In the 1960s, Millsaps became the first college or university in Mississippi to voluntarily desegregate. And in the 1980s, we were the first institution in the state to be awarded a chapter of Phi Beta Kappa, the oldest and most prestigious academic honor society in the United States. And in 2010, we were the only liberal arts college in the nation to boast 2 Rhodes Scholars in a 3-year period, joining the ranks of only 11 other colleges and universities around the country that claimed that remarkable achievement. The others being Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Duke, Stanford, the rest of those. They are in very good company with us. To become and continue to be a unique, highly acclaimed college doesn't happen by accident. It happens because, from our earliest days, thoughtful, progressive leaders, with the support of many people who valued what this place has to offer, came together to establish foundational roots for Millsaps. roots that would allow us to grow into one of the finest colleges in the land. Roots meant for students who need and desire outstanding educational opportunities in a small setting with a supportive community of peers, faculty, and staff who can mentor them and nurture their growth and development. After 133 years, I'm pleased to say that we remain not only distinctive, but absolutely transformational. And when we think of what stands us out today in this unique way in Mississippi and beyond, one of the most distinguishing programs at Millsaps is our study abroad program. We're distinctive in that while we do offer students opportunities to study abroad with exchange programs and with other institutions, our signature programs and primary opportunities are led by our own faculty who take their students and classrooms outside their campus and into the world, and by the absolutely unique properties and programs at our 3 southern campus sites in Yucatan: Casa Millsaps in Merida, the Millsaps Pook Archaeological Research Center in Oshkoshkab, and our 4,500-acre biocultural reserve at Cashelkeweek. Once again, the generosity of alumni and friends, Helen and Ed Moyers, Kathy and Maurice Hall, Dee and Bob Leggett, Susan and William Jeans, Donna Ruth Roberts, many others have supported a vision that allows Millsaps to create these classrooms in the field and build a resource in Yucatan that is not only invaluable to Millsaps students and faculty, but also serves as a revenue stream for the institution as other colleges and universities take part in those facilities. So these study abroad experiences are important for today's students for many reasons, which you'll hear about shortly. Millsaps takes our responsibility for educating global citizens seriously, which is why our approach to that does not leave outcomes at chance. Taking the Millsaps classroom into other countries means that faculty are able to design courses that align and complement the Millsaps experience and the curriculum. They're able to maximize opportunities to compare and contrast cultures because they know their students have a sense of where they come from and where they want to go. They're able to make learning in a different world come alive for our students in ways that traditional exchange programs simply cannot match. And as we look to the future, one of our goals is to make at least one study abroad opportunity available for every one of our students, regardless of financial circumstances. A goal that is rooted in the example set by Bud and Judy Robinson when they created the Robinson Fellows Program in 2006, that program provides $100,000 each year for financial aid to students who would not otherwise be able to study abroad. They did this in 2006, and they've continued doing that $100,000 every year. Following the Robinsons' lead, Julia and Paul Ogden established the Ogden International Fellows Program in 2017 for the same purpose. So just as our founders envisioned a college where young people would come to our campus and benefit from an excellent liberal arts education, we're committed to establishing opportunities for our students to become globally educated and enlightened citizens of this world. So to offer insights into how our International Studies program works, it's now my pleasure to introduce a Millsaps faculty member and 2 students who will share their experiences with you. So Dr. Veronique Belize is our Director of International Education and Associate Professor of Anthropology at Millsaps. Dr. Belize, holds a Bachelor's of Science and a Master's of Science from the University of Montreal and a PhD from the University of Michigan. She's an anthropological archaeologist interested in the impact of expansionist states and empires on the daily lives of the members of local communities and has been exploring this theme in the Andes of South America since 1999. She regularly takes her classes to Cuscos in southern highlands of Peru, which was the capital of the Inca Empire. This area is critical for understanding migrations and settlements of people from AD 600 to 1000. Her classes in Peru exchange students in hands-on research and site excavation, as well as opportunities to discover the culture, language, and sites of Peru. We're fortunate to have her with us tonight and appreciate your leadership in our international education program. After we hear from our professor, we will hear the first from Brittany Wilson and then Bernard Booth, both natives of Jackson, Mississippi. Brittany is a junior at Millsaps, double majoring in creative writing and mathematics, and is an active leader on campus. She currently serves as president of the Black Girls Project and is a member of the Millsaps Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation leadership team. She's a resident assistant and a Pathways peer, and she interns for the McMullen Young Writers Workshop for high school students throughout Mississippi. She previously served as vice president of the Pan-African Student Alliance and a consultant for math and French in the Centers for Writing and Academic Success. And Bernard Booth is a senior at Millsaps, majoring in sociology and anthropology. He's a member of the Lambda Chi fraternity and is serving as vice president this year. Bernard also serves as treasurer of the Sociology and Anthropology Club, is a highly successful student, having made the President's Scholars List every semester at Millsaps. So please join me in welcoming our speakers tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Perigin. Oops. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm here, as Dr. Perigin said, to talk to you a little bit about our study abroad opportunities for our students. So first, perhaps we can wonder, why study abroad? Why go abroad in the first place? Well, it's fun. And I think that Hannah and Shamaya here would agree with that. But of course, it's not only about that. Studies have shown that study abroad is a high-impact strategy that increases the likelihood of timely college completion. It also increases the likelihood of higher GPA at graduation, and it enhances career success. And we can see that through higher employment rates and higher starting salary. But why is that? It's all about the skills that students can develop and acquire while they're abroad. What kinds of skills? Well, the hard skills, the technical skills that students learn in college, and then they are able to apply in international contexts, in contexts where they're hands-on, they're experiential learning, where they actually practice what they have learned in the classroom. And that can take different shapes. So for example, learning how to paint outdoors in Madrid in Spain, or learning how to conduct archaeological excavations in the Yucatan in Mexico. But other than hard skills, our students also learn about soft skills, soft skills that employers are actively looking for while they're hiring new employees. What kind of skills? One of the most important skills that employers are looking for is problem solving. So problem solving is particularly important while students are studying abroad. They are in a completely new environment they've never been in before, and they come up with daily issues, day-to-day issues that they've never had to solve before. And so our students certainly practice those skills while they're abroad. Another skill that employers are actively looking for is collaboration. And so our students, while they're studying abroad, they learn how to work together towards common goals. Another important one is cultural awareness. So our students learn to communicate with people from different backgrounds, different cultures, even different languages. They experience another culture firsthand. They understand how other people see the world, and these worldviews might be fundamentally different from the ones that they're used to. In other words, they expand their own worldview. Why is this important? Well, in our currently globalized world, including the US itself, this is so important for students to learn because they will have to have all of those skills, and they will most certainly, during their careers, have to work with people from very different backgrounds, even if they were to have a career that in which they get to work in the U.S. for their entire life. Another thing that students learn abroad is how to be professional, how to behave in a professional setting, and even how to expand their network. Students are also able to navigate and adapt to new situations. It can be as simple as learning how to navigate a complex, huge international airport, or it could be a bit more complex and learning how to navigate a foreign city, a city where perhaps no one speaks their own language, or a city that is so much bigger than where they're from. So all of these skills, in the end, increases students' confidence and independence. They get out of their comfort zone. They work together to solve all types of problems and issues. And so these are really things that, in the end, enhances our students' personal and professional growth. So at Millsaps, we are fully committed to having high-quality study abroad programs. In fact, we are recognized for that. So the rankings came out a few months ago about study abroad, and Millsaps consistently ranks in the top 15 of U.S. institutions for study abroad. So this is institutions, colleges, and universities across the entire U.S. And so, for example, one institution ranked us number 13. Another one ranked us number 6, and there's even one that ranked us number 1. This is in the entire U.S., so this is something that we should certainly be happy about. So how is that? How did we do that? Well, we have all sorts of programs. We have exchange programs. These programs are where students have the opportunity to go to another institution, to go to another university in another country for the entire semester. Now, of course, these can be quite transformative, as Drew is telling us right here. But those are not unique. In other words, every college, every university has those kinds of programs. What sets us apart is our faculty-led programs, where we literally take the classroom into the world, where our students travel with their faculty members. Students are able to travel with faculty that they know already, with whom they have taken classes perhaps before. Those students participate in a true Millsaps experience, one that is tailored to their needs and to their interests. Our faculty travel with students in small groups, and they're able to tie the experiences that the students are going through back to the more familiar environment that they know at Millsaps. So where do our students go? Well, as Dr. Perigin was mentioning, of course, we have several facilities in the Yucatan in Mexico. We have facilities in Mérida, which was voted a few months ago as one of the top 10 cities to see in one's lifetime. So we have the Casa Millsaps, or the Millsaps House, where students go to take classes in business, Spanish, history, health, religious studies, creative writing, psychology, environmental ethics. We also have facilities in a smaller town of Oshkoshkab, and our biocultural reserve in Kiwik, where students engage in archaeological excavations. We also have faculty-led programs in Europe where students, for example, go to London, Dublin, Florence, Madrid, Vienna, and Prague. And students can engage with various programs in anthropology, studio art, music, history, psychology, business. So there's a lot of different programs in different places. We also have a series of programs in other places in the world. Students can participate in archaeological excavations in Cusco, for example, where I take them. They can also take a class in political science and tourism in Tanzania, in Eastern Africa. And they can even participate in a mini semester in Taiwan and take classes in Mandarin, music, Asian cultures, business, and many others. Any Millsaps professor who teaches outside the US has stories about how they see the transformation of students happen while they are abroad and when they come back. As a faculty member myself, I take students to Cusco, Peru, which, as Dr. Perigin mentioned, was the capital of the Inca Empire. Students participate in my archaeological excavations down there. And of course, they learn how to set up an excavation unit. They learn how to excavate. They learn how to sift through dirt to find artifacts. They also learn about the Inca Empire and the magnificent buildings that they have left behind. They learn about the societies that preceded the Inca Empire that made the empire possible. But they also learn how to work collaboratively with one another, but also with the Peruvian students and scholars who are with us in the field every day. And so our students are able to communicate and explore a new culture. They're also even able to pick up a few Spanish phrases, or even in Quechua, one of Peru's indigenous languages. They learn how to navigate a foreign city, a city that is bigger than Jackson, a city that is very different from Jackson. But most importantly, they learn that they can do it. They learn that they can do it, and they're much more autonomous than what they thought they could ever be. I'll give you an example. One of my students a couple years ago participated in my archaeological field school in Peru. The summer after that, he went to the Yucatan with George Bay here, and he participated in the archaeological excavations there. The year after that, he came back to Peru to have more field experience. And thanks to these hands-on experience, he was admitted to one of the top graduate programs in archaeology in the US. And he is now conducting his own excavations, directing his own excavation project in Peru. Another student of ours who graduated a few years ago, participated in a few of these programs abroad. He went to the Yucatan, he went to Europe, and he also went to Tanzania in Eastern Africa. These experiences inspired him to have a career that would call him to work internationally. He went on to obtain a double master's in Europe in global intelligence and international security. He now works as a special agent in diplomatic security at the State Department. In that position, over the last couple months, he has worked very closely with the U.S. ambassador to the UN. And he's now preparing for his first overseas placement in Burkina Faso in West Africa, which will start in December. Studying abroad with a Millsaps faculty literally changes our students' lives. Now, this is unique, and this is what ranks us in the top 15 of colleges and universities across the country. So many Millsaps students would not be able to take advantage of our study abroad programs without the help of scholarships. Our winter and summer sessions are not covered by regular academic year tuition, which means that students have to pay for these opportunities out of their own pockets. But thanks to the generous support of alumni and friends, we have scholarships available for them. In particular, the Robinson Fellow Scholarship and the Ogden Scholarship are two primary sources of support for our students who have financial need. I know that you are eager to hear from two students who will share with you their experiences. So I invite Brittany Wilson to come to the stage, and then she will be followed by Bernard Booth.
Hello. Okay, so I went to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico for a writing class, Writing in Place with Liz Egan. As a creative writing and math major, I chose this course because I was interested in poetry and also architecture. So I had been in Jackson for my whole life. I've been here for 20 years. And I wanted to experience a new culture and a new landscape before graduating. I wanted to immerse myself into a place where I could be a true foreigner. I didn't know Spanish, and I also didn't know much about the culture. My study abroad was paid in full by the Robinson Scholarship, for which I am honored and grateful for, because if I did not have that scholarship, I would not have been able to go. This opportunity stood out to me because it was more environment and experience dependent, kind of like a create your own adventure course. I wanted to know more about the rich culture and history rather than the tourist attractions, even though we went to a few of those. The culture, the people, the architecture, the vibrant colors, and the religious syncretism were all highlights for the trip. I loved exploring the Yucatan with Millsaps. It reminded me of my hometown of Jackson and helped me to appreciate my hometown more. I gained many attributes on this quest of mine. I gained independence, as this was my first time on an airplane and my first time outside the country. I learned how to overcome being directionally challenged in the cities we visited, but my greatest fear was overcoming one of my biggest fears, aquaphobia. I went snorkeling in the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah. I learned how to float and flow in the ocean current, and I felt at peace in one of the scariest environments for me. Learning how to overcome one of my biggest fears head on will propel me in the workforce when I graduate Millsaps. It's important for students like me to study abroad because my independence, my self-confidence, and my determination to succeed and achieve have increased tremendously, and that would not have been remotely possible without the sponsorship of donors like you all. Thank you, guys. To finish my speech, I will read one of the poems I wrote during my time abroad. The title is Mayaland. Here, water is white and gold is green. Sour oranges skip and dance with sweet papayas. Stingless bees sing to orchideas in the kiwik, where corn creates mankind and water sustains. Limestone arches line the city streets where life awakens before sunrise and lingers after sunset. Cathedrals bury temples under the horizon, limestone foundations peer through stucco. Here, Sicilche and ceiba trees embrace the reclaim of a rich heritage. Thank you.
Y'all, I know they normally save the best for last, but I don't have a poem, so I did want to briefly thank everybody for being here tonight and for donating. It really is like why I came to Millsaps. I actually started at Mississippi State. I'm a transfer student, and a huge portion of the reason why is because the program here and the travel abroad was just so amazing. There was no way that I could get that at an institution literally 20 times the size. So thank you all. And to begin, I wanted to use a Mark Twain quote because I think it illustrates what Millsaps does and Millsaps values. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people who need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all one's lifetime. Millsaps works exceptionally hard to do that. And these programs and these people, y'all, are what make that happen. So I specifically went to Peru with Dr. Belil, and I took archaeology in the land of the Incas. And I chose the class because I was looking at the options, and it was the one that seemed the most rugged of the archaeology options. We actually get to do our own digging, and that means that like I spent most of my time just throwing stones out of a pit, which was really fun, and I got to learn a lot doing it. But that was what attracted me to it. And the other thing is it's just such a wonderfully unique culture because in the highlands of Peru, the Andes, they still speak a native language, Quechua, and for many people, Spanish is their second language. And as a Spanish speaker myself, it was really cool meeting other second language speakers, even if our first languages were entirely different. And experiencing that was fascinating. And being with Dr. Belil and getting the faculty-led experience of getting to learn the culture and experience the culture directly myself, but have an intermediary or a buffer that can really help translate some things was essential to my experience and making it safe, fun, comfortable, but also manageable, and getting to meet all the awesome people that I did. And I think that the other thing that really fascinated me was all the little cultural pieces of information that I got to learn. So for instance, in the highlands of Peru, there's this really fascinating hat culture, as in every little region of Peru, all the women have unique hats, and you can go look them up, and they all signify what region they come from, and I don't know particularly. I think this is right outside of Cusco. But I would never have learned that just vegetating in one place all my lifetime. So I think that's why I went. And the reason that Millsap students should study abroad and should get these opportunities is that exploring these other cultures is important. Getting to learn about the hats of Peru is important. And I'm an anthropology major, so for me personally, this is exactly what I want to do in the future. And this was essential to me coming here, and it's a huge part of who I've become today. So thank you all, and have a wonderful night.
I thought I was next, but then I thought maybe Michael had something to say, so I had to know. He doesn't. Well, that kind of wraps up our evening. But I do want to say thank you to Veronique, Brittany, and Bernard for sharing this evening. I want to say a special thank you to each of you for being here, but also for your investment in Millsaps College. It means a lot, and I think these examples show exactly what you're doing and the impact that you're having. So thank you very much. And I say thank you not just from me, but from all of us at Millsaps. We say thank you. At this time, to wrap up, I'm going to ask Millsaps chamber singer Jaquanda Jackson, who will be accompanied by Professor Lynn Rayleigh, to lead us in the Millsaps alma mater.
Hello. This is exciting. I've never sang with this many alum before. I'm ready.
Will